right, everybody, we are here with Group D of the DreamHack Last Chance Tournament. Down here in the bottom left, the Finnish Phenom. That's right, it's none other than Jonas Serral, representing ENCE Esports. His opponent in the top right, a big underdog in this series. But holy crap, he's a gambler. He knows he's the underdog. This is Dongregu. That's right, 2012 GSL champion. And he is going 3 hatch before pool. What an absolute Chad gamer. Now, you know what's really cool? What I actually really like is there's a special version of this build where you go hatchery first over here. And then you build your 3rd hatchery on your natural. And the thing is, this hatchery timing, it's identical. 1:20 to if you went pool hatchery. So if you build this hatchery here, the Overlord will come in, see that the hatchery's finished late, and your opponent will go, ooh, he's gone pool before hatch. And you might bait your opponent, if he doesn't check that 3rd quickly enough, into actually building a baneling nest or a spine crawler or some sort of safety measure, thinking, ooh, that could be some sort of speedling push. Very cute adjustment, not something DRG's gone for here. But DRG, of course, going extremely greedy. Let's see how Serral handles this. He's going to scout. Okay, looks normal, looks normal. He'll pull back because he knows, hey, I've got 2 queens and link speed on the way. Pulling 1 off gas, which it's good for the standard greed build, but whoa, Serral, you gotta get out of there, bro. Your queen's gonna pop in 10, 12 seconds. So he ties that to the last possible second. Of course, little does he realize that DRG was not building a queen. Or does he actually? Because you can see that the hatchery wasn't throbbing. And guess what? His Overlord's over here. He sees that 3rd and he immediately knows what he's up against. Now, what is the play? Serral's already opted for the 3rd base. He pulled a guy off gas. Does he put a 3rd worker back on gas and drop a baneling nest? That's what I'd do right here. And he's still droning for now. He does drop a baneling nest. Do we see a 3rd worker back on? No, we don't. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see some Ling Bane aggression. Now, the one danger here is DRG is expecting to come under the gun of enemy baneling aggression. He still goes Ling speed before baneling nest, but his baneling nest is pretty quick. A lot of players here would actually go baneling nest pre-Ling speed just to make sure they can match the enemy's baneling time. DRG trying to cut that corner. And of course, you give him another minute untouched. DRG will get ahead off that 3rd hatchery. But for now, Serral's playing this super chill. Serral's not reacting, guys. He's literally got a 6 Zerglings going forward. He's going to do a very light Ling Bane pressure, try and force an overreaction, and he's just going to drone up behind it. Serral is not taking the bait of overextending into a chaotic situation. And it's actually DRG who now gets a bit of a semi-wall off up. And he's building so much Ling Bane himself. He's only got a 1 drone advantage. This is not that big. And those queens going to come forward, focus down that Overlord. Zerglin's going to try to run by a Wild Scarlet. Appears in the chat. She says, you don't actually need to do anything versus 3 hatch. It's not that great. It's not that big of a lead. Well, Serral gets 2 drones. 3 drones? Oh my god, for almost no investment. This costs him so little. And DRG, because he's invested in Bane Nest so early, a good pack of Lings, Banes, and a 3rd queen, DRG did not get ahead against this. Now, keep in mind, what Scarlett's just pointed out there in the live chat, and what I absolutely agree with it, the pro level does not apply at lower level, because if you see a noob going 3 hatch in DRG's shoes, they might not make Ling speed, they might not make the Banelings, they might not make the 3rd queen, and so they will actually get way ahead on the drones if they just drone up, right? But because they have to make those safety measures, and a pro gamer like DRG is never going to skip on those, they don't actually get further ahead within the pro meta. And this is one of those things where it's so fascinating to see, because you could see, I think the way DRG played, he wanted Serral to feel pressure to damage him, to kill him. As it is, Serral, he got 3 drone kills. He even sets off a Baneling there with a single Zergling. And guys, it is a very good worker lead for Serral. 4 drones this early. He's on 3 queens, so's his opponent. And we do see melee. So DRG wants to play mutas from here. This is a fake roach build. Oh, the Ling gets in! Doesn't see that the lair's finished. So did Serral see the 4 gas? I think he only saw 1 on the natural. Didn't necessarily see that 4th gas. He might have seen the drones mining though. And I think already he might have an idea of what's going on. Now, of course, this wall-off's a little derpy. That queen does need to be very well positioned in order to make sure she blocks it. Serral's going Overlord speed already, so he should be able to scout this Spire very easily. If he morphs an Overseer, he's going to have a speed Overseer. He sees 2 gases on the 3rd, very little minerals, he knows. He doesn't even need the scout now, guys. Serral's a very high-level player. He knows, oh, you're taking those gases before saturating the minerals. This is mutas. 100%. Serral's going to take the front hatchery. He's going to spread creep there, get spores, queens for the defense. Now, I wonder, does Serral go for that queen infestor push that people have been doing recently with the Microbial Shroud. I think it was Lambo actually did it versus Serral. Oh, DRG's Lings get wiped just before their melee upgrade finishes, and DRG's making roach speed, funnily enough. Oh, okay, he's gonna have to deal. Look at this fake little pressure. DRG, I don't know if he sees it, but it's literally just a handful of roaches, lings, and banes to do a light pressure from Serral. He's gonna try and cancel the fourth, force a lot of ling bane, and really just slow DRG down before DRG's mutas are on the field. He gets a cancel on the fourth. He's got banelings here, another good baneling hit. Does want to keep that one alive. And here we go. Lings are going to go for this as well as the roaches. Nice flank with those +1 melee Zerglings. They will deal with the rallying roaches, and I think that should be a hold there. The Zergling's going to get a very good fight. You can see Serral pulling the rest of his rally back. So this is actually going to be a very interesting scenario because equal worker counts plus mutas should be hitting the field in just a moment. Where are those mutas? Has he not built a single one yet? He has not. He's just massing Zerglings saying, hey, I know you're going to have anti-air coming up right now. Guess what? You can't deal with my mass Zergling, not with just a couple of roaches. And this is a bit of a mistake from Serral. He's trying to morph Ravagers to save the low hit point Ravagers. The Queens are coming forward as well. These +1 melee Zerglings kicking some ass right now. And behind that, the 7 mutas come out. Serral a little bit too greedy, and he's going to lose a few roaches and Ravagers as well. But holds on in the end. DRG, though, quick to replace his 4th base. I've got to be critical. This 4th base makes no sense for a player playing Mutiling Bane. If he took this base up here, it never would have got cancelled. Do you want to expand on the flanks, similar to you would against a Terran player, where you want to try and expand along the edges of the map, or a Protoss player away from their pushes? Because as the Mutiling Bane player, you're playing a more mobile style. You want to make it harder for your opponent to do a ground push, whether that be Roach, Infestor, Queen, Hydra, Roaches, Lurkers, Vipers, whatever it is. So DRG took the wrong base, got his base cancelled because of that mistake. Nonetheless, though, he's bouncing back. He's looking really good. 10 drones on the way right now. It's actually really good. He's got +1 air weapons, Bane speed, 6 more drones building, so he's going right up that economy tree. I would argue that one of the most important timings is Bane speed. Normally, when you're going Mutiling Bane, when Bane speed kicks in, that's when you want to be rolling in on multiple fronts into these exposed mineral lines. But look at Serral. He's got Roaches and Queens split there, Roaches there. What about... And he's got Roaches there. Serral has lost too many games to Raynor and Dark playing mutas. He's learnt his lesson. He's got those positioned just right. Oh, Infestor in the open. Drones are going to have to fight, but no. Sacrifices a muta there for that. Well worth it for DRG. DRG's looking great. And if you let DRG take control of the momentum of a game, he looks exactly as good as he did back in 2012. Sometimes he does cut corners and just die to timing attacks and that sort of stuff. But in this scenario where he's just dancing his mutas around, he does look very good. He's trading a lot of the mutas. And you might think, well, that's kind of crappy, isn't it? You don't want to throw away 8 mutas for just a few queens. I think it's totally fine because he got a bunch of drones during that. He kills the queens. And most importantly, guys, he's got a 5th base. He's going to be droning that up. And he's actually transitioning into his own lurkers. Now, I've talked a lot about how I don't think that's the best way to play it. I really do agree that Ultra Viper is still amazing. Lurkers aren't bad as a transition, but I think there's more of a window to do damage here. I think the Zergling drop in the main, something which no one uses, would be a no-brainer. Hold that thought, though, because there's not a single Overseer on this map. Where are they? Yeah, he has an Overseer in the middle. How did he not see these guys coming? They went right past. Oh my god, he somehow missed it. I think he should have caught a glimpse of that. Maybe they got set up a bit late. The Roaches are going to unburrow in the natural and in the 5th base at the same time. We've got more Roaches on the front as well. Lingbane is rolling in on that. Roaches there in the middle, going to clean those units up. We've got a few guys there going down as well. Roaches in the main, continuing to be a nuisance. And Serral, 9 drones, but most importantly, he has completely pulled DRG's attention home. And oh my god, did he just cancel a Lurker Den? I think he just killed a Lurker Den. Roaches still getting more kills. Guys, I've attributed Serral, and I've credited him with getting Burrowed Roach nerfed. They used to regenerate even more life while burrowed, and I really credit him with getting that nerfed. I remember when I said that to him, he was like, no, that got nerfed way before I was killing everyone with it. And I was like, dude, trust me, it was 100% you. You were disgusted. He's one of the best at just running those roaches around and popping them up and down. We've seen his first-person view in tournaments as well as on his stream, and there is nothing like his ability to just absolutely beautifully micromanage 3 or 4 spots. That's a good snipe here for DRG. Transfuse ain't going to save that. 4th base goes down. Banes roll into the 3rd. 7 more drones go down there. And DRG strikes back. And you know what? He's still got 91 drones. He's on his way to Lurker Tech as well. Lurkers, of course, are already on the way. Hasn't started the upgrades yet for Serral. And Infestors and Vipers, a pretty good unit combo for dealing with mutas. These mutas at this point kind of a throwaway unit. He'd like to chuck these out, would DRG. 5th base in the top left. And yeah, he's swapping into those Hydras. He's got the range upgrades slowly coming in. He's going to add Carapace. He's going to keep trying to do Baneling run-bys. You can see Zergling's getting ready on that flank. This side's actually open. If he sends a Zergling this way, he can lure those 3 Lurker shots to the right and slide Banelings in on the left. And even with Focus Fire, that would be hard for Serral to correct. Serral realizes he's got an opening. He fixes it. That's going to be much harder to get past now because their angle of attack is most likely going to clean up the units coming in from behind. Muta's in the back of the main. Going to pick off some gases, but not without cost. Serral realizing this was always a threat, and he has 5 Spore Crawlers in that main base. Round 17 of Roaches comes in. Serral says, hey, dickhead, you can't be the one just attacking me all game. He also knows there's Hydras and Lurkers on the way now, so he's 100% sure of what sort of game he's in. We should be seeing that Viper count grow, as Vipers do usually decide who wins out in these trades. Cute burrow there. No Overseer, so he doesn't kill it. He gets... Oh, Serral almost gets a Lurker. Doesn't quite get it. And this Roach could pop back up. More Roaches over there on the 5th base as well. I'm going to keep this Roach in the bottom right of our screen as those Roaches in the top left also pop up. And look at this beautiful play by Serral, just running DRG around. There's a reason why you want to put a Spine Crawler at each mineral line once your opponent does show Tunneling Claws as a possibility. And this is exactly why. Those Roaches do go down. Still no Overseer. Oh no, there is an Overseer with those Mutas now. That one Roach could still be a nuisance later. More Roaches are queuing into these bases. DRG ready with a Ling Bane attack, but Serral has been on the money with his defense of those Baneling run-bys. You know, after a couple of years of this Mutaling Bane style being heavily in the meta, it's taken this long, but the best players are always covering the different run-by angles. And remember, if they don't cover this, Banelings can just roll in with +2 melee, kill 40, 50 drones in a matter of seconds, and it's always so painful to watch a game just be suddenly lost like that. Now, these Roaches are hiding in the top right. The Overseer and the Muta is going to try and find him. The Roaches are like, shit, hide, hide, hide. Overlords get cleaned up. DRG large and in charge right now. He's got 11 Lurkers versus 7, but he's still got a lot of supply tied up in those Mutas, and he's got 30 more Workers. He's going to try and go for the Nidus Worm. Nothing like sliding a cheeky Nidus in your opponent's backdoor to look for a potential win condition. And the Muta does go down there. I think he's very happy to trade those Mutas out, to be honest. Serral, I like the way Serral keeps sending Overlords out just for vision. He's like, look, I don't mind losing an Overlord or 2 as long as I see where you are and what you're doing. And after clearing it up, DRG sends his Banelings back in. There's 1 Lurker, 1 Spine. They might be able to stop this, depending on how those Lurker Spines land. DRG will catch the Roaches there. The Roaches pulling back. Somehow Serral, with some God sense, realizes what's up. Oh, sacrifices the Mutas there. Does kill a couple of Serral's Vipers, but is that worth it? Oh, check it out, guys. Roaches coming in. They did not spot the Nidus Worm, but Serral's going to do even more damage here. He's going to go for the Lurker Den, trying to take out that tech. Fascinating stuff here from the Finnish player. 2-1 upgrades about to kick in, by the way, for DRG. Great transfuses. Actually keeps the Lurker Den alive. Oh! Oh no, Serral! He doesn't notice the Nidus Worm. Uh-oh, full-on panic response because there are Lurkers inside his main base, and he does not have a lot of Viper energy. Oh, he's got 2 Blinding Clouds. 2 Blinding Clouds could bust this ramp for sure. Serral does manage to get on up there, and he should be able to clear this out. The Spore's giving him good detection. Takes a few Lurker volleys. At the same time, Lurkers run in that base. Oh, a bit of a YOLO here. DRG doing what I call a pig maneuver. Now, a pig maneuver is where you just try to click things into lots of bases, and you hope your opponent's incompetent enough that it works. Unfortunately, Serral, far from my ladder opponents, far from the messy, scrappy player who could easily get flustered that DRG was hoping for, annihilates that silly Lurker run-by on the right side. That was not a well-planned Lurker run-by. That was a, haha, you're distracted. You F2'd your whole army over here, right? Of course Serral didn't F2 his whole army. He's way too good for that sort of sloppy 2-pronged Lurker run-by. DRG's going to need to do better than that if he wants to push the Finnish player out of this game. No muscular augments for Serral, guys, so keep an eye on his Hydras. They are slow Hydralisks, and he has not realized. These Hydras very immobile. That's going to really limit his movement on this map. Roaches and Ravagers run in and they trade. They will go down to the Hydras of DRG. Serral with a whole bunch of changelings there. And how many Vipers? We got 6 for DRG, 4 for Serral. Now, one of the big moves you're going to look for here, guys, is abducting the opponent's Vipers into your Hydras and using hold position to gun them down straight away. The other move is, of course, occasionally dropping a parasitic bomb on the Vipers just to damage them if they're clumped up. That's more of a slow burn efficiency spell. and blinding clouds on the lurkers, which of course stops them from attacking, and except in point blank range. And what you want to do then is you want to, if you get blinding clouded, quickly move those lurkers that get blocked, unsiege them, and burrow them elsewhere. So it's a very technical late game scenario here between DRG and Serral. It's one where, I mean, all history shows that Serral should be a massive favorite here. But then I think about Serral's lurker Viper play in ZvZ in the past 2 years, and I think about how it was lackluster. I don't want to say it was bad, because it definitely wasn't, but I've seen him with massive advantages up against Raynor, Dark, just throw it away at the lurker Viper stage. And that used to be something which you'd never think of as being something you'd associate with Serral, but it really did happen too many times to ignore in the last couple of years. So keep an eye on this. I think Serral's good at this game. I don't think he's anywhere near the best right now at the lurker Viper game. I actually think Dark might be the best. It's Dark and Raynor, both capable of incredible things with this composition. You might say, what about Rogue? I saw Dark make Rogue look like an absolute noob in the late game just a couple months back, like complete domination with identical units. So I don't think Rogue is anywhere in the discussion for best late game Viper lurker control. I think he's very good at the earlier stages of the game and the movement and the tricky niduses. But beyond that, I don't think Rogue holds a candle to these other guys. Now, that's getting hit by 2 spines. You can see it's taking a double hit every single time. Actually, was it a double hit? I don't think it was. No, it's just +3 does so much armor damage, doesn't it? I was like, dude, can you do double hits on buildings? I didn't think lurkers could do that, but I think it was just the +3 there, meaning it was doing 36 damage a hit. 39 -3. Vipers do abduct the lurkers out of the ground. They go down. Nice cleanups here for Serral. You can tell DRG still wants to kind of just surprise him with a bit of a cheeky Nidus Worm. I'd like to see Lurker harass here with the Overlord spotting the high ground. I wouldn't mind a Lurker run by down here as well, just to be a nuisance, you know, get some multitasking going out of your opponent. DRG, Queens do not do a lot of damage, mate. They only do 2 times 6. Now that is obviously 2 times 3 with armor. Looks like with the Hydralisk helping out will be enough to shut down that Nidus Worm, and at least now DRG is aware of the fact that Serral, here in this opening match of Group D, has now got his own cheeky knight. Is going to try and use that to reposition around this map. 11 lurkers for Serral, 7 for DRG. So they're both rather low on the lurker count. No one's trying to brute force lurkers. And I guess with so many Vipers out in the field, that makes sense. You've got enough Vipers to take out pretty much any number of those. And look at that, Nidus in the back. Nidus over here to reposition potentially. Army posturing on the front. Nice abducts. Even abducting Hydralisks can be really good. And DRG too distracted. That was a feint with the main army, and the feint works out. He's going to be able to pop some units out. And he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many lurkers is he going to get out? He doesn't have an overseer here. So the lurker of DRG obviously is a big problem. If you don't have an overseer with your lurkers, that can really cause you trouble. And he's going to try to run in this base and get some more damage on the front. Blinding Cloud! Blinding Cloud orgy! Parasitic bombs! Way too many parasitic bombs. He just threw out 3 parasitic bombs. A lot of energy. I guess he's got energy to burn though, doesn't he? As those units do have to pull back, and it looks like they will survive, but just barely. All very damaged. Lurkers over here really causing a ruckus. That Overseer needs to get over there. 17 drones go down. The Lurker run bys. Serral in his element, running Lurkers around like a D-bag. And DRG is taking some big losses right now. Check in on that unit's loss tab, which of course, opening up Mutas is going to be way behind for you as DRG, but I think it's fallen a bit further behind. So we're checking in 19 minutes. There is a 10,000 deficit for DRG. That's right. Serral being 10,000 resources more efficient, which we'll keep an eye on that and see if that gap widens. If DRG wants to win this game, he needs to close that gap. And he's going Adrenal Glands and 3/3 melee carapace. No Ultra Cavern. So that's just for Zergling run-bys, which is one of the best run-bys. You just got to remember that if there's a lurker at a base, they will evaporate. But if you can, say, get into the main where there's no lurker, oh, yes, there is. Serral prepared for this. Then you can absolutely tear down buildings faster than anything else. Adrenal Zerglings are the best, man. Lurker's going to run on in. And here we go. Hydra, Lurker, Viper coming forward. Viper's going to go for some nice abducts. And, ooh, Blinding Clouds. Oh, damn, Serral's units derp through the Blinding Cloud trying to find an attack angle. But, dude, DRG did not realize there was a pack of lurkers behind that. I thought Serral fought too far forward, and DRG says, oh, you think that's a bad Hydralisk move? Hold my beer. Walks 30 Hydras into that ramp and gets absolutely eviscerated by this pack of lurkers in the bottom of our screen. That was not a good move by DRG. Let's check in on that unit's lost. He's now 13,000 resources behind. 3,000 resources extra lost in that last engagement in what looked like it started as a DRG favored fight as well. And this is the thing, guys. You're not used to playing such a slow, methodical, and kind of chipping away at your opponent late game. It's a real grind fest. You've got to have patience in these sort of spellcaster technical battles. If you don't, you leave your units exposed, and Serral rips all those lurkers out of the ground, says no, no, no. And that is why I wanted to see DRG play Ultra Ling Bane off of the Mutas, because Serral playing the lurkers there, that's his namesake, and going to lurkers gives up all the momentum you got with the Mutaling Bane play. I would have loved to see DRG dropping Zerglings in that main base right back at the 10-minute mark, running Ling Bane into these bases, bringing the Mutas in, focusing down the single lurker, trade a Muta or two on the spores for it, roll the Banes in, and don't stop doing that. Swap into Ultra Viper, which is such a good composition. You can just blinding cloud enemy lurkers and roll over them with Ultras. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of games where they use Ultras poorly. They go, Ultras aren't good, pig. Ultras are effing fantastic. You just need to use your Vipers with them. A lot of players out there really don't play that style correctly, and they just throw Ultras into mass lurker without the support of the Vipers. But anyways, very beautiful efficiency. Serral does fight back there after what looked like a pretty good early and mid game for DRG. Let's go into game. All right, guys, let's go into map number 2 here in the bottom right. A nice comeback in game 1. Let's see if he can keep it going. Beautiful efficiency in the late game. It's going to be a confidence booster. This is Serral. Serral. His opponent in the top left, it's Dongregu. I say as I bounce a key off my keyboard. Hold on a second, there we go. Alright, so it looks like DRG is going to go hatch... oh no, we don't really know, sorry. We'll find out in a moment, but I would imagine hatch first. Not a bad map for, say, pool first 6 Zerglings. And there we go, that drone's going to go down. We're just talking about how different creatures mate. So very Zerg-focused chat. And I was saying that some spiders, the lady spider, after mating, eats the male spider. And we've got a comment from chat that says, actually, no, not true, pig. In the wild, the male can escape due to the female being paralyzed for a few seconds after coitus. But is that only if he does a good job that she gets paralyzed? Like, if he's like a bit of a beta, does he not manage to fully paralyze her with the act, and then she does eat him? Because that would be super funny. This could all be made up. Don't take anything I say as accurate. That's a bad pool placement from Serral. That's meant to be one space to the left, guys, but he misplaced it, and he doesn't want to waste time replacing it. So he's going to have delayed gas mining, and I don't think his queen's going to be able to move from side to side. This is super awkward right now from Serral. Guys, Serral, what are you... This is... Oh, that's... Look at this. He's going to have waiting time, I'm pretty sure. Guys, look at this waiting time. Yeah, he's got 3 drones. Now he's going to have to put a 4th on... Oh, he should have just cancelled that pool. Serral, this is a really, really shit opening, mate. Oh. This is, yeah. I mean, DRG, come on, mate. If you've ever got a chance to take down Serral, this is it. I mean, I would be triggered if I did this. If you're 2018 world champion, one of the greatest players of all time, and you do this, you're actually, like... You're tilted when you do it, but then you decide to not cancel the pool, and then you're even more tilted when you realize they can't even go around the left side of this, which I swear they should be able to go through there. I really think they should. I think if he repositions them to that side, they actually mine faster. It's just they're already mining on this side, so he'd need to manually move them over. I think. He's back down to 2 on gas now. Oh, this is so awkward, dude. Chat claims he can't get through there. I guess not, because... Only hatcheries have curved edges, right? So that actually should be blocking that off. Apparently. I don't know. I feel like a diagonal you should still be able to move a drone through, though. It's interesting. Zerglings are going to pressure the front. Going to look for a cancel on that 3rd. Serral. He's going to lose his 3rd hatch. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Serral's a low GM player. Guys, this happens all the time to us. As random idiots on the ladder, and we're like, oh, I built these Zerglings a little too late. Oh my god, he gets his 3rd cancelled by the standard 4 Zerglings coming across the map. Guys, Serral has been hitting the Finlandia. I'm just saying, I know we think of him as being a bit of a down-to-earth guy. I think he might be living up that big lifestyle. All those Finnish ladies down in Pornainen, Finland, they're like, oh, you're a StarCraft world champion. Come and party with us at the club, Mr. Serral. And he's like, all right. And he's just fucking smashing back bottles of Finlandia the night before tournaments. He's still hungover playing right now. What is he doing? And now he's going for a Ling Bane. Giant Link Bane pressure, uncharacteristic play for Serral. This is something he hates to do. He sees it as a big gamble, but I think having his third cancelled, he feels like he's forced to do it. Remember, guys, when you see Serral doing this sort of attack, it's usually not what he wanted to do, and he's unhappy to be doing it, but he feels like it's the best thing to do under the circumstances. Really slow to turn his Lings to fight. He already loses 4-5 Zerglings basically for free there, and he can't get any more damage done here. This is crazy. This is so rare. And look at when he misclicks the Banelings. He clicked those home thinking they would go north. They walk back through the Queens. I mean, this is some of the most average play I've seen from Serral and ZvZ in a while. And oh, nice ambush attempt from DRG. Doesn't quite get it. He's trying to pull his Zerglings back. Serral, I think you can see the frustration even in his micro. He's misclicking. He's running his Zerglings around in a little bit of an awkward fashion. It's not the worst micro, but it's definitely not as crisp as we're used to seeing from him. And DRG, he's building a Roach Warren. He's planning an all-in behind this, guys. He's got to build 1 or 2 more Overlords just to make sure, because he's only got enough supply for 8 Roaches right now. And you're going to see those Roaches as the moment that Roach Warren finishes, he's going to be going for a big Roach Bane all-in. Now, Serral, he's got a Roach Warren finished. If he starts building Roaches, he's fine. If he starts building drones, he might just be dead. This is a very short map, and those 8 Roaches are on the way. Notice the way DRG is not trying to kill him, he's trying to keep him busy, but Serral, in the midst of all of it, scouts an empty third base. He does see fake drones transferring, though. He sees fake drones, and because his own third isn't saturated, he's like, oh, you are saturating it. Oh, those were fake drones. Look, DRG sends basically the only drones from the minerals on his base there. The Roaches are now coming out, but Serral baited into building, and he starts another 2 drones as he sees the Roaches because he's so distracted by the enemy Link Bane. He is absolutely screwed. Oh my god, Serral is totally just destroyed this game. And guys, I was talking about how, you know, if you let DRG take the momentum, he looks like 2012 DRG GSL champion. Not only that, but he's made Serral look like a bit of a ponce this game, and that's not me saying Serral's a bad player, but that's me saying this is a perfect example of what happens to a lot of players who aren't as experienced, where they make a mistake early and then they just go off the ladder, off the rails, fall off the ladder. It's tilt. This is just tilt at its absolute core. Great play by DRG, keeping him busy, keeping him active, faking the drone transfer. Serral, though, completely tilted from the moment he misplaced his spawning pool, and it looked like he never reset in that map. DRG ties up the series. All right, the series is tied up 1-1 as we go into another very short map. Curious Minds. Bottom right side going for a 16 hatch. Serral. Opponent in the top left is, of course, Africa Freaks Dongregu. Actually, wait, he's on Envy now, isn't he? Let me just do a quick team check. I remember he was on the Freaks. I think he might be on Envy now. So we're just going to do a quick team check of Mr. DRG. And he is indeed on Team Envy. All right, so we've got Team Envy for DRG, of course. Serral still repping NC Sports, and that is what the spawning pool's meant to look like, guys. The Queen can plug that gap, your workers can mine, creates a bit of safety, a semi-wall. That's what the spawning pool's meant to look like. And completely uninterrupted mining there as well. And we've got hatcheries there as well. We've already got someone who apparently made a live bet on this game in the chat. They've said, yeah, maybe he misplaced the pool, or he did a really good job throwing the game, ... Guys, you can always tell when someone hasn't done well in their bets in StarCraft, because it's always they threw the match. How could such an excellent player do something so terrible? But it happens to everybody. Tilt is a real thing, guys. There's a reason we use poker terminology. We use tilt in StarCraft. It is so goddamn real. It doesn't happen as much with a guy like Serral, but we've definitely seen it in recent years. I especially see it in his Zerg versus Zerg. I was casting the Lambo vs Serral series from the next finals, and there was one of those games where the literal fundamental basics thing Serral had to do after defending an attack was at least fake a move out with the Roaches to put counter pressure on, and Serral just sat at home. And it was like low Masters level decision making. You got forced to build 20 Roaches, you crushed his attack. You should at least move the Roaches across the map to force your opponent to build units rather than drones. Didn't do it at all. And it was like a fundamental mistake that he regularly makes in that scenario. And he does that a lot against Raynor, where Raynor will fail an attack and then just have like 10 Zerglings threatening, and Serral will just sit there with 20, 25 roaches at home, rebuild drones, and Raynor will do nothing but build drones for 4 units and then catch back up and turn around a game where he should lose. And this happens to Serral. He is not a perfect player. He makes mistakes. We all do. Now, the reason why this seems so reality breaking for so many of us is we've watched Serral play in 2018 and he made like 3 mistakes in that year. It was like 3 mistakes in that year. So when we see him make mistakes now, it seems unfeasible. Like, you made 3 mistakes in 2018. But everybody has those days. Everybody makes those mistakes. And to be fair, I'm exaggerating. Serral actually made a lot of mistakes in 2018, guys. Dozens, hundreds. Scarlet's still in chat. That's a person. He made a lot of mistakes for Scarlet, didn't he? She had some sick series with Serral. But what defined Serral in 2018 was his ability. And the same thing with Maru. Maru almost lost to fucking Leenock in his year of dominance. Wrap your head around that. But what happened is Serral and Maru, in those years of dominance, they always found a way to make crazy comebacks and recover from those mistakes. It was their durability and their flexibility and their ability to bounce back from those scenarios. It's the same thing that allows Raynor to be a world champion and the reigning world champion. Is Raynor's so good from behind and he's so good at making comebacks, and it makes it kind of stressful to play against him, because I don't think he's anywhere near as perfect a player as Serral in terms of the openings, the safety, the scouting, and the build order detail. I've regularly seen Raynor have kind of slightly sloppy openings, you know, not quite as sloppy as Dark, but kind of in that range. And then he flows so well, and he makes such good under pressure decisions and multitasking that he makes it hard for his opponent. So no one plays perfect at all in StarCraft, but in this game it's been interesting. We should really talk about the game, Pig. +1 range, really standard macro play for Serral, guys. He's droning, but this is a tiny map, and DRG is going for the Carapace build. And he's already transferred fake drones and fake double gas on the 3rd to sell the story. Serral's seeing all this, and he is eating it up. He's eating it all up. Now, the drones haven't been transferred to the gas. That might be a little sus. Serral, he's playing way too greedy, though. He's going up to 60 drones. I mean, I guess if he stops at 60, Lambo reckons you can defend, but roaches are already on the way. DRG doesn't even mass them up. He just rallies straight through the middle, starts morphing Banes, and it's go time. The Spines, they will not get up in time. These Banes could go in the natural. I think that might be the best move, but he wants to save him to fight the army. 13 roaches versus 3. Serral tried to go to 60 drones. He's now building spine crawlers. I think he cancelled a few drones. He's got plenty of lava. His roaches are going to be popping out in a moment, but he's almost supply blocked as well. His banelings do get a good trade there. He's taken down a lot of DRG's Banes before they connect. In the natural, though, Zerglings of DRG will do very well versus Serral's rally as they come out into the low ground. And those Spines, even though they'll play so conservatively, will not finish. DRG committing hard to the 45 drone Carapace timing attack, catching Serral off. And he knows, don't go into the natural. Bait Serral out into the open, fight him in the open, and camp the production on the 3rd as much as you can. The Zerglings trying to stop these units from escaping. Serral's trying to get it together. That one Hentacle from the high ground, adding some nice DPS on the Zerglings. I think Serral might need to keep falling back from here, though. I don't think he can chase too far. He is outnumbered right now. Serral needs another round or 2 of production out, but he's already lost some of his queens injecting. They're out front. They're going to go down. The roaches are here. He's got +1 range versus +1 Carapace. Remember, the Carapace cancels out the range in roach versus Zergling interactions. That's why this upgrade's so good for this push. It allows these Zerglings to tank really well versus the roaches. The 3rd base is going to go down, and that's not everything. He's still got a chance of killing the roaches and surrounding. Serral wanted to make him pay a price for getting the hatchery snipe, but that price is Serral's death. So it's actually Serral who, going out into the open, pays the ultimate price there. And DRG, he's gone back to droning. He started his +1 range, so he will take the upgrade advantage behind this. He surrounds the last few roaches on the low ground there. This is beautiful, beautiful play. And that is just going to be a massive advantage. 3 base versus 2. And notice he doesn't over-drone. DRG is like, well, you have to just try and retake a 3rd and mass roaches in the meantime. Okay. I'll just mass roaches off 53 drones. I'll kill you in a minute from now when roach speed and +1 finish. So he's got a 1-1 timing already queued up, basically. Already lined up. He's got 7 overlords. It's going to be nothing but roaches from there. Serral's going to try to limp to that 3rd base. His lair does finish up. He starts... I don't know what that was, but he just cancelled it. Got 75 minerals back. And then makes a spire. I think it was a spine crawler? It's 100 mineral structure. It must have been a spine. Overseer is there. 12 roaches on the way. I don't see him getting his spire out in time. It makes sense to go spire, but Serral's going to have to give up the 3rd. Camp is natural. And even then, even with Evo wall, even with roaches behind an Evo wall, even with some ravages, I think he dies. I do like that move. Queens do get that. Gets his third cancelled though, and Serral's kind of forced to just camp on 2 base, hopefully defend the roach attack with neuters, which isn't the greatest call, just simply because it's such a small map. They'll get over here, and he lost his queens to the lings as well. DRG is on fire right now. Literally, his mouse and keyboard, there's so much friction. They're literally on fire. 543 APM, and he moves out, and Serral doesn't even wait. Serral just taps out. Look at that. Serral sees the attack, and he's like, there is no way. He knows he can't stop that. 36 roaches versus 19. His Spire was nowhere near done. And yeah, he was absolutely dead. GG. DRG bringing it back. The old dog showing what he's got. Showing that he can still dance with the young kids. And for Serral, I think a very frustrating series. Caught out here on such a short map. Such a short rush distance. And after an absolute mess of a game too. He's got to be very frustrated with that. GG. DRG takes the 2-1.